Boat Show. The 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 Boat Show.
How do you like my shirt?
Oh, it's awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Boat Show. Well, I'm really now hyped all of a sudden. So, this week's Boat Show is going to be awesome. I'm excited. What did I do? Oh, God. We have a special guest this week. We have our very first official author. Yes. It's awesome. We've had so many crazy guests. Let's see. We've had a British submarine computer contractor guy. We've had a guy who works for the Department of Defense through Amazon, and now we have an author and I believe ex-Navy man. Yes.
Yep.
Ah, that's so awesome. I'm excited. So yeah, this week's gonna be cool. We've done some crazy things in video game world. With a whole lot of SA goons, and I'll talk about that here shortly. We also have our special guest, Jeff Edwards, on the show today, and it's exciting. He is going to be writing the book about the Fountain War, which I believe is the first time someone's really sat down and wanted to write about EVE Online, which, of course, is exciting when you've played EVE Online for a long time. And then we also have my spastic self, and it's been a very interesting few days. Lots of lack of sleep and other things, so I'm excited. Are you excited, Mr. Edwards?
I am extremely excited.
Oh.
Please don't call me Mr. Edwards.
Oh,
it's just Jeff.
Jeff, okay.
By the way, it's my understanding that I'm supposed to be the spastic one on this show.
Oh,
so,
then we'll both be spastic. It's the best. Aren't we all goofy goobers? Yeah, yes we are. Oh, I just watched that a couple days ago with my nephew. He came over to visit, and we watched SpongeBob. That's such a great show. Anyways, so
that's solid American drama there.
Oh, it is. And the thing is there's so many hidden adult jokes.
All the best cartoons are like that.
Yeah, it's so amazing. My nephew's watching that and he's like, "What in the world just happened?" I'm like, "Don't worry, you'll learn someday." But yeah, this is gonna be fun. So, as we always do on the Boat Show, now that we're done monologuing for a moment, we talk about video games, and the games that I played, the games the guest has played, and the games or things that you guys have done. So, the past week, what has occupied your time that's kept you busy and had fun? Like I guess you could say, enjoyment this week.
Enjoyment-wise, probably mostly reading. Obviously, still trying to work my my training queue up a little bit in EVE, stuff like that. But mostly, it's been reading. I've been reading a classic old sci-fi novel called The Witches of Karis, which, if you haven't read it, is some of the funniest shit ever written in the realm of sci-fi. It's laugh out loud funny stuff. It's completely obscure. It's funny that I've probably read that book 3 times since I discovered it when I was in my 20s. And this is the first time I ever realized that you never find out what the main character's first name is. He's always just the captain or Captain Fossart. You never actually find out what his first name is, and but it's good stuff. It's funny stuff.
That is actually quite amazing because, as fun as that is, I just finished reading last week, and this might sound funny to all the viewers and maybe even yourself. One of the Twilight books. For some reason, there's a Twilight book that has like 1,000 pages. It's called Breaking Dawn, and it's told from 3 different perspectives throughout the whole book. Like, it just changes perspectives, and it's just really well written. And for some reason, I've read it 3 times, and my girlfriend always laughs until I got her to watch the movie last week, and now she wants to read the book herself. But it's just, yeah, it's captivating. So,
well, it's interesting, whether you like that stuff or you don't like. Well, first of all, I ended up seeing the first Twilight movie completely by accident. My stepson and I were in a circumstance where my former stepson, he's still a good friend of mine, we were in a circumstance where we suddenly found ourselves at odds or not at odds, but at loose ends. And we wanted to go watch a movie or something, and we were up in Alpine at the time. And I knew where a theater was, but I didn't have any idea what was playing there. So we said, you know what the hell, let's just go down there, we'll look at what's on the marquee, we'll pick something. And we got there, we saw that Twilight was playing, and he said, hey, I haven't heard much about that, but I think it's a vampire movie, and he's all into vampire stuff. So we went in having no idea that, now mind you, he's a teenager, 6'5", big, buff kid, and so I'm this middle-aged guy and this great big buff teenager, and we're sitting there, and we're the only males in the theater. 90% of the people there are either moms or they're 13-year-old girls, and we came out of there, and my stepson said, "What the hell was that?" And I said, "That was pure genius." And he said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "It doesn't matter whether or not you like that movie. They nailed their audience perfectly."
Oh yeah.
Every 13-year-old girl in that theater laughed in the same place, cried in the same place, and went in exactly the same place. It's like she has her audience so wired. So whether you like it or not, you gotta give Stephanie Meyer kudos for knowing her audience.
It's almost like with Harry Potter. Speaking of more books, is that she does a great job of making you want to pick a side. Either with Harry Potter or with the bad guys. Or in the vampire book, you're with the vampires or you're with the werewolves. It's like you want to pick a side. It's fun. And actually, to be honest with you, with the idea of the Fountain War book, to kind of segue into that, that's what I'm excited for, is to see the sides and how they're written. Like, it's just to see, the good guys and the bad guys. So what I'm hearing is that the bigger boat is a 13-year-old girl. No, I am not a 13-year-old girl. But since we're on the topic of books, viewers, let's talk about books this week. If you've read any good books, and I highly recommend, no matter how old you are, to sit down and read. It's a joyous thing. Love reading. I read as much as I can when I have time. And the best books I find are the ones that keep me up real late at night. Like, I'll be on my bed, and I'll lay in like 8 different ways to try and read that book. And then I don't want to go to bed, and I've fallen asleep with a book on my head a few times. So we have The Sword of Truth. I think I've never heard of that one. Oh, Word of Truth by Terry Goodkind.
Oh, I love Terry Goodkind.
All the Harry Potters I read a few years ago.
Yeah.
Let's see.
By the way, Harry Potter, if you like J.K. Rowling, you should read her Robert Galbraith novels, her detective novels. The ones that she tried to write undercover as Robert Galbraith. The Cuckoo's Calling, The Silkworm, and Career of Evil. I haven't read Career of Evil yet. I actually just got the audiobook, and I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. I don't have a print copy of it. She is arguably the best detective thriller writer I've ever read. And as somebody who writes detective thriller fiction, that kind of pisses me off. It's bad enough that she's kicking my ass in every other genre. Now she comes into one of my genres and kicks my ass.
Oh, that's
but it's just
amazing.
It's masterful. The Cormoran Strike series are just amazing if you haven't read them.
Oh man, I feel bad for Arc Dax. He writes, I had to read a 737-800 technical and procedural manual for work. Oh, I've seen some of those. I had a summer job when I was going to university for teaching, and it was working on cleaning aircraft for Delta and their parent, our sister corporation, Comair, and the manuals on those things were as big as my hand. They were thick.
Yeah.
And the mechanics, like the old mechanics, knew every little bit of it. And then you get like a pilot who looks at it and goes, "What the hell am I looking at here?" Mm-hmm. And I was even lost. I would look at him just for the hell of it. But I've been reading Sea of Shadows a bit while I take a poop. Well, that's good to know, Astronautic. Thank you.
I personally don't recommend it. I've met the author and he's an idiot.
Do you ever have an experience where you do that? Just like, say, "Hey, how's it going?" to yourself?
No, not really. But well, I guess maybe I do. I have had to kind of get up in the morning, look in the mirror, and go, "What the hell did we do last night?" So I guess that's kind of the same thing.
I've had that moment a few times. I always feel old because I'm 29 years old, and I feel old whenever I think about stuff like that. But yeah. I always tell myself it'll never happen again, and then it happens again.
Well, shit that I bounced back from instantly when I was 25 or 35 damn near kills me now. So, but I keep doing it because I'm an idiot.
Yeah. It says, well, I'm a pilot, so yeah, I kind of have to. That's amazing. Pilots are awesome. I love pilots. They're goofy people to be a pilot. I don't know how they do it. I don't know. It's like driving a car, but sometimes it's even more like bland roads, as it were. You know how they stay awake sometimes. So, cool. So,
Go
okay.
ahead.
No, fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that my son, my oldest son, passed away when he was 17, and he had a list of things that were on his bucket list, and he did most of them. But there were some things that he hadn't done, and one of those things was to fly a sailplane, to fly a glider. So every year on the anniversary of his death, until I finished off his bucket list, I would go do something on his list. And one year I went and flew a glider, and I went up to Warner Springs. And the good news was that there was nobody else there that day, and the pilot who was teaching me behind me, the glider pilot behind me, she basically said, hey, as long as you can, I don't have anybody else waiting for me. We can stay up here as long as you want. As long you take the controls, as long as you keep it above 4,500 feet, so that we've got enough altitude to get back to the barn. We can do it. So it's like I would swing around and catch thermals off the back of Palomar Mountain and climb up to 8,000 feet and then spiral down. I had a blast, but I'll tell you this: I always felt like it might be possible that I could do something wrong that she wouldn't be able to recover from. There's a level of kind of hyper vigilance there that I think that I just don't have. Once upon a time, I thought I would actually take flying lessons and learn to fly a plane. I think my brain would explode. I don't think I could actually do that.
I almost went to the Air Force Academy before I decided to be a teacher and to go the other way. I almost went to the Air Force Academy for wrestling, and I wanted to be a pilot. And so I got to back seat on a fighter pilot, or a fighter jet, and that experience was just unreal. I'm afraid of heights, but when it comes to flying in a plane, no problem. I can go up on. I've been flying since I was 2. Flying doesn't bother me. If I go up a 20-foot tree, it freaks me out and I want to scream. But yeah, when it comes to this stuff, so, whew, yeah, it's an interesting experience to fly, and yeah, if I could fly now, I would. It's just something else. So, okay, cool. So we've talked a lot about books and games and stuff. So let's move to the next thing. You're the special guest this week, Jeff, and so I'd like you to take a moment to introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself and what you do and what you're working on.
Okay, fantastic. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeff Edwards. I'm a retired Navy chief, lifelong sci-fi nerd. I consult for the Department of Defense. I'm a retired sonar technician chief, which if you've never talked to sonar techs, that's just a damn strange thing to do for a living. I was on destroyers chasing submarines for most of my career, and that's one of those things where a surface ship chasing a submarine is like a dog chasing a car. You're probably not going to catch it, and if you ever do, you're basically screwed. So that was an interesting thing to do for a living. Now I work in 2 different capacities for DoD. When I wear one hat, I do cybersecurity and accreditation and evaluation, cybersecurity evaluation of networks and communication systems and stuff. Mm-hmm. And on the other side, I write tactical doctrine manuals for anti-submarine warfare and mine warfare. Oh, wow. So still very much got my hands in the DoD thing. And somewhere around the edges of that, I write science fiction novels and I write military thrillers, and I'm kind of back and forth between them. I'm kind of alternating between the two.
Oh, that's amazing. So what is it like as an author? Like, this will be the first experience with an author on the boat show, guys, so I'm really giddy. As a teacher, I've had the biggest essay I ever had to write was 30 pages, and that just seemed like a ton of writing. But when I sit down and write, for some reason, I don't ever do, write little chunks. It's like I write a big, giant 20-page pre-draft type thing, and then I just edit it a bunch, and then that's the one that I go with. But what's it like when you're writing a novel to sit down and you got the maybe a laptop or even an old typewriter in front of you and just to write? How does that go with you?
It's interesting that it's, well, first of all, it's incredibly interesting. But first you have to find your process. And it took me years to find my process. I thought I could just sit down, jump off a cliff, and start writing. That didn't work too well for me. Yeah. Every single time I did that, I would get a little ways into the story and then figure out that I don't have any idea where it's going. So then I came up with Plan B, and I read 65 books on how to outline a novel, how to plan it, 3x5 cards, index cards, diagrams, whatever it is you're going to do, and I did that. And I planned a novel from the get-go. That turns out doesn't work that well for me either, because if I plan it in too much detail, I lose the sense of spontaneity and adventure that comes from, and discovery that comes from the creative process. Eventually I figured out that my perfect method is to write a loose outline that basically says, this happens, this happens, this happens, something happens kind of over here, and then this is where it all ends up. So I understand what the arc is. I understand the shape of the story. I understand where the major set pieces are going to be and the major plot pieces. But I get to invent and discover all the things that happen in the middle. Yeah. So it's the perfect balance between planning and creativity. That's actually one of the things that attracts me so much about the idea of writing the Fountain War novel, is the fact that the big arc's already there. We already know who fought who on what day. We already know, well, not necessarily everybody knows, but there are records and, and chat logs and jabber logs and kill mails and fight videos and things like that. And there are diplomatic communiques and things of that nature and messages. So kind of the arc of the story is already laid out. But so I don't have to figure out who fights what battle on what day. We already know that. What I have to do is put in all the details that bring that world alive, that make you be able to smell it, hear it, taste it, feel like you're there. So this project is actually perfectly in my pipeline for my process.
That's awesome. See, when I think of an outline, the first time I really understood an outline was when I was teaching it to a child. I actually never, for some reason, I don't know if I just didn't pay attention, because I was a gifted child, I never really paid attention when it came to writing. And it wasn't until I got to college and later on in my senior year, and I was teaching a group of kids on the writing process, that it really clicked for me that, oh, maybe I should have been doing this all along. And even now, I still struggle writing outlines and ideas. I have to when I do a lesson, I do a lesson plan. But even that was completely different, and it's always fascinates me when you watch a video on an author or a documentary, and they talk about the writing process, because writing, reading, and everything are just so important, And so to see that in the way that it's done, it's amazing. So some questions are coming in. A lot of questions. A lot of people want to know: is that a Tempest behind you on the shelf? Oh, that's so cool. Did you get that from CP Games, or did you make that?
Oh, no.
Oh, you got
I got that from, I got that.
Because it almost looks like the idea like a ship in a bottle. You know what I mean?
It does, yeah.
It looks so
Isn't that cool?
And is that a torpedo on your left?
That is a torpedo on my left. That is actually, if you've ever read Sea of Shadows, which was the first novel that I actually got published, there's a torpedo in there, a high-tech torpedo called the DMA-37. And it's a German-built torpedo, and it's just particularly badass. Well, I had, a few months after the book, probably a year after the book came out, I was contacted by a guy named Rich Malillo, and I didn't know this at the time, but he was a master modeler for movies. And he approached me, and he worked on PT-109, he worked on Tora. This guy was just a serious badass. When all movie special effects were done with models, this guy was one of the masters. And he contacted me and he said, hey, I want to build a model of this torpedo. Yeah. And I said, cool. And he said, send me a blueprint. And I said, it doesn't exist. The torpedo only exists in my head. He said, do you know how to use CAD-CAM? I said, yeah. He said, lay it out, figure out what your dimensions are, figure out, So I actually sat down with some people who were kind of torpedo technicians who worked on them all the time, and a couple of people who were design engineers, and we figured out, this is where the propulsion plant goes, this is where this piece goes, this is where that piece goes, and I put all that stuff together, and we ultimately blueprinted it, and I sent them the blueprints, and out came that amazing model.
Man, that's amazing. So it's kind of an interesting thing, because the guest that I had just 2 weeks ago, he works for the British Royal Navy, the British Department of Defense, as on remodeling submarines and frigates, and he's a computer technician who handles all of the computer software for remodels. He couldn't go into any big details, but it's just awesome that we have two submarine guys back to back like this. It's really cool. Yes, I have a model. I don't know if you've ever seen the Eve Megatron.
Oh yeah.
For Secret Santa a couple of years ago, one of the Eve Gooms sent me a 16-inch red 3D printed Megatron.
Oh, very cool.
And it's done in like 20 different pieces and super glued together and pieced together like a model. And it sits on my desk, and it's amazing. Every time my nephew comes over, he's 4 years old, he said, "Can I see your spaceship?" It's just so cute.
Yeah, because it's badass.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, that is cool to have models. I love little models everywhere. And
did you see the floating Knicks?
Yes, I have. That's it.
Isn't that? Yeah, I want one.
I don't know, man. $1,800 though.
$1,800
Yes, I agree. Now, if it was being made by SpaceX, I would do that. We had a SpaceX guy make some models for out of titanium, and he made a titanium Knicks that was about 2 or 3 inches long.
Oh wow!
And that was cool looking. I never got one, but I know someone who did. And yeah, so that if it was made like out of solid titanium or something, it was that big, or something like tangible. I'm afraid when I look at that thing that I'm gonna bump at my finger and it's gonna fall off and then boom, just shatter.
Yeah.
And there goes $1,800.
Well, somebody did actually knock it off the magnetic pedestal while we were there.
Oh no!
And it's funny because poor Torfy was standing there. You know, Torfy from CCP.
Yeah.
Was standing there, and there was a sign, "Do not touch it." Torfy's like, "Please don't touch it." And the guy's standing there right in front of him, goes, "Poke, poke," and the guy was trying to spin it so he could get video of it. Eventually, he poked it a little too hard, and it fell off and nothing broke, thank God. But it's like Torfy was about to have kittens there. So, and I don't blame him. You know, at that stage of the game, that's a one of a kind prototype. But I'm like, which part of "don't touch" is? I was actually signing books at the table right next to that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, at some point, Torfy, you just got to knock that guy upside the head. He's not getting but he did. He knocked it off.
This might be a question you've never been asked before. What was your first video game experience? Because I know you play EVE Online, so...
my first video game... Wow, you want to know... I'm going to reveal my age here.
Oh,
my
that's
first
fine.
video game experience was Pong.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's, Pong, and then the Atari stuff, and the ColecoVision stuff, and Matchman, and Mega Man, and all the classic arcade stuff.
That's
I crushed it at Zaxxon back in the day.
Do you remember the game Tanks? Where you would shoot like little tanks, and there was different levels. The tanks would do different things.
Yeah.
When I was a child, I mean, not too young.
I loved driving it with the two different.
Yes.
That was brilliant.
There was a top-down version that I played with my brothers, and whenever it was like winter at my grandparents. My grandparents had the 4-channel television, and in the basement, right next to the Atari, was an old record player, then an old 8-track player, then the Atari with all the old controls, all of which worked.
That's just brilliant.
They also had, and this might make a chuckle, I don't know if they have it anymore because their house went up in a fire, I'd have to look. They had an old solid metal sonar machine from like the 1800s. Like maybe not sonar radar type machine. And it would always make the little noise that those things make. And I remember playing with it as a kid, and I never got it to work. My dad knew how it worked because he had studied electronics and had one from that. And so, so Pong, that's awesome. So, what was it like though? I mean, I know my father, and even when I think about video games, it was so fascinating to me. That
it was the bomb. It was the first time. It was the first time, and of course now, we jump online and play EVE Online and stuff like that, and we fly around and blow stuff up and build stuff and stuff like that. That was the first time I'd ever had the opportunity to interact with something on the screen, actually do something that impacted something I was looking at. Because before then, you watched something. And that was before even VCR, so you didn't even pop something in and watch what you wanted. You watched what the hell was on television.
Yeah.
It's like the idea that I could reach into that electronic realm and make shit happen was very cool. That was the first time I realized, hey, there's a whole universe in there, you know, and
that's amazing.
And you just want to crawl through the screen and find out what the hell's going on in it.
The guess,
but
that is amazing because the way the technology has shifted now. I just had a video linked to me. The guy that was on a couple weeks ago, Laszlo, he does Eve captures images. He likes to do photography in real life, but he also does it in Eve. And so he just bought a brand new computer setup and did a test of his graphics capability on GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto 5. Mm-hmm. And it looked like real life. He rode a motorcycle around in first person. And the graphic detail was so amazing. At first, I questioned my eyes and was like, is this guy really just riding the motorcycle around? And then he goes and, you know, says, no, it's just GTA 5. And I was like, wow. You know, it's just... And then soon we're going to have VR. Like, Eve's working on VR. And then you're going to be able to... I don't know if you've tried that yet, but I got to experience the VR goggles.
I actually didn't, but I was sitting right next to them and watching people play Valkyrie on those. That looks so cool. The thing is, by the time... and there was an opportunity where there was a lull in the line and I could have done it. The problem was that the night before that, I had been out on Fremont Street in Vegas, and I had indulged a little bit too heavily in the tequila, and I think if I had gone into VR, people would have found out what I had for breakfast.
That's a possibility.
I didn't end up doing that, but it looked amazing.
What was scary about it? Now I can imagine using it in a scary game. I've actually seen YouTube videos where they've made horror games for the VR, so you can experience that. But I remember I was sitting in a chair and I looked down and I'm taking my hands and trying to touch my legs, and I'm expecting the hands on my eyes to come across the screen, but they wouldn't. You know, it was like I just wanted to touch myself, and it was just amazing. And the sound effect was surround sound headset, you know, so I didn't hear anything but the sound of the capsule ship I was in.
Yeah,
and it was just
I think wanting to touch yourself might be a separate thing.
Yeah, my girlfriend might have a comment about that one, and I'm pretty sure the chat does also about me wanting to touch myself. But yeah, that's a different story. But no, the best thing I've seen with VR, and I could see just how Boat just wanted to touch himself. Don't let him fool you. The best thing I've seen is actually they did a roller coaster. What they did was they took a guy, they had him stand up, and like he was in a roller coaster, and then they waited till the roller coaster was about to go over the hill, and they pushed him. So it made him feel like he was falling out of the roller coaster.
Oh, wow.
And he starts stumbling and jumbling, and they had to grab him with like 3 people, and he just screaming because he felt like he was getting thrown out of the seat of the roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
And it was that whole surround sound feeling, and yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Laz says to the chat, Beard TV is coming. Prepare for beard virtual reality. Speaking of beards, my brother just finished chopping his off. He had a 7-inch beard grown. Now he's been doing this since he was he can grow beards like really big, and he's been going bald since he was 17. But when I thought of Laz's, my brother cut his off. He looks like a different person now. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he could have donated that to keep people warm for a winter or something, you know.
Stuff a mattress with it or something.
Yeah. So, one more question before we get ready to play some EVE Online, because that's what we're going to be doing here in a moment is playing some EVE Online. Did you ever play any tabletop games?
Oh yeah,
board games.
Course.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love tabletop games. I used to love to play, including some of the ones that are now kind of obscure, like the Nuclear War card game was brilliant. Yeah. If you never played that, it's amazing. I used to like to play Awful Green Things from Outer Space, which was freaking hysterical.
Yes.
Starfleet Battles. Lots and lots and lots of stuff.
Yeah. So. I just recently... We just recently, within the last couple months, got Cards Against Humanity for the family to play, and the first time I experienced that game was there's a meetup that we do that Alex and another member of Goons, who's this girl, she hosts at her house a meetup, and up to 80 people show up every year. They call it Ice Swarm, and it's in Madison, right near Alex's house. And we played it the first time I ever played that game, we played it with like 15 of us. And some of the, like, you really get to know the personalities of people playing that game. And then we played some other board game where you had to pretend to be a Cylon. And I had no idea what the heck I was doing. And I was the Cylon, so that was a quick game. But yeah, so stuff like that is just a blast.
I don't own Cards Against Humanity yet, but I farted around with it for a few minutes with some friends of mine, and it took me 3 minutes to realize that I'm not nearly as nice a person as I thought.
Oh,
I was.
yes, exactly.
And you find out where your dark side is so quickly with that game.
And the worst person in my whole family, I found out was my mother. She was just, ruthless. Like, some of the jokes she pulled out, I think she pulled out a Holocaust joke in there, and I'm like, whoa! Like, really? What is this, mother? Like, you pick her card up because it's hilarious, right? And then oh, that was mine.
Yeah. Instead of Cards Against Humanity, they should call that game Redefine Your Image of Yourself and Everyone You Know. That's exactly
or learn everything about your friends, version 1.2. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly. Mostly the stuff you didn't want to know, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Exactly. I am 5'11". Why are the chat wanting to know how tall I am? Cards Against Humanity. If you don't know what Cards Against Humanity is, I highly recommend checking it out. It is amazing. Yeah, I'm pretty short. I'm not that tall. I wish I was taller.
If you're 5'11", you're taller than I am.
So, we're going
I'm 5'7", and my wife is 6 feet tall. So put that in your pipe and smoke.
That's amazing. So, we're going to transition now into what we always come on the Boat Show to do, to play video games. And we're going to be playing EVE Online. And Jeff Edwards and myself are going to roam around. And I am currently in a Sweeple, and I think Jeff is in his Algos. So if you want to go ahead and undock, Jeff, and in Fleet Chat, if you look at Fleet Chat real quick, you'll see a system linked. If you right-click that and set destination, it should be 3 jumps.
Okay.
And go ahead and meet me on the Untitled Gate.
Wow,
everyone's surprised at how short you are. It says no offense to short people, but that is really short.
I will be. So we're gonna warp to the Untitled Gate.
Yeah, go ahead and warp to the Untitled Gate, and then go ahead and jump through. And
hang on just a second.
Oh, no problem.
Interesting, because my Skype button covers up my warp too, so I had to move that.
You can actually. There's a button in the upper right of Skype, the little X button. It'll just minimize it all the way down to your taskbar, and you don't have to worry about that while we're playing the game.
Just did.
Perfect. Yeah, they'll get away. Can you use an Armor Rep 2 yet, boat? I believe the bigger boat now can. Jeff, have you ever had a dream? Okay, here. There's some questions that have been coming in the chat, and I've been saving them till now. One question was, have you ever fallen asleep at your keyboard while playing EVE?
I have not yet.
Yeah, that tends to be the general nerd question, because I did it once after studying real late. I woke up, and then there's EVE right there. And then I realized I did it in my Titan, which was scary. But
unless you mean touch and goes, which I have done. I was up a couple of times where I went like that.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, but actually falling asleep, no. But I've gotten close enough where I went, okay, that's it. You know, time to station up, go to bed.
Okay, go ahead and warp to the Untitled Gate and just go ahead and jump through.
I'm there.
Okay, go ahead and jump through it.
Jump.
Yep.
Okay.
We're about to enter 0-0. Now, this will be an experience, because if they're waiting for us, we're probably going to die quickly. And if they're not waiting for us, then, well, we'll see what we blow up. So, like I said, I'm in a Sweeple, and Jeff is in an Algos, which is both destroyers. Go ahead and warp to KBP7 gate at 0 and just hold there for a moment. So, another question they had is, have you ever had an EVE dream yet?
I actually have had an EVE dream.
Oh, I gotta hear this. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, I actually dreamed. I actually dreamed that I got potted way out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh wow!
And then people kept chasing me, and it's like I couldn't get away from them. And why it was that I didn't just figure, okay, just let them kill me, I don't know. But I dreamed that I was, you know, that I was so many AU out that it's not funny, and I'm poking along in the pod while I'm being chased. So yes, I've had an EVE dream.
Mine involved.
Okay, I'm at the gate.
Alright, just hold here for a moment. Chat wants me to remind you that when you ever go on a boat up, which is what you're doing now, to wait a few seconds before you react, because you'll probably die if you don't. So I have a reputation. My brain tends to move faster than my mouth. And so I'll be in mid-sentence and realize that was a bad idea, because my brain's going, yeah, something better has come up, and it's time to do something else.
Okay, don't do that, that'll kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually a common phrase, is if you jumped, you're dead. So that's a joke with my chat here. Alright, you can go ahead and jump through and warp to XHQ. And hopefully there's nobody waiting for us. If there isn't, we'll make it through this system and then we can keep going. If there is, we're going to blow them up.
It's warning me that it's extremely dangerous.
Oh, yes. Go ahead and go through. Hit accept. Jump and hit accept. And then go ahead and warp to the next gate. And there might be some bad guys here. Which it looks like there's going to be bad guys here. Yes, there are bad guys here. So either we are...
Okay, so are we warping to the next gate?
Yes. Go ahead and warp to the next gate. Just warp now, and when you arrive, it looks like they're waiting for us.
Oh, lovely.
Do you have a micro warp drive or a propulsion mod?
No.
Okay.
I don't.
So what you want to do is align to... align to Ditol as soon as you're in system. Alright, have you warped yet to the next gate?
Yes.
Okay, as soon as you land, start aligning away. And we'll see if they chase me instead. Hopefully they come after me instead. Okay, so you're landing now. Start aligning back where you came from, and drop your drones and be ready to fight. Looks like they have a lot of guys. So this might not go very well for us. But we can try. So what they like to do here is they like to make sure that we don't get into that system. Oh, there's a hawk. Alright, let's kill this hawk real quick. Let's kill that. Or try to kill that, I should say. Well, it's trying to kill me, that's for sure. Alright, here comes a Cerberus. So we want to stay away from the Cerberus. So try to kill this hawk right here that we're on top of here. Okay, I've got the hawk, and hopefully I can kill it before it kills me. Oh dear, it is, wow, it is hurting me. I might die. Oh dear, try not to die, I'm already dead. That has to be the shortest hop with boat ever. Oh dear, they don't like me. Alright, so you're right now fighting a Cerberus, and he killed you.
Yep.
That was quick.
That was quick.
Alright. Hold on a second. Uh-oh, they blew me up. Darn. Alright, so. We died. Do you have another ship?
Not handy.
Okay, me either.
And I just died.
Yes, I'm dead. As everyone in the chat is saying, off success. Usually it takes a lot longer to die on a boat hop, but you will die eventually.
Hey, I'm a pretty good looking corpse there. I was liking that. My corpse is taller than actually.
Oh! Everyone in chat yelling at me for shooting the hawk, but that was fun. So, that was your first experience on a boat hop. How was it?
It was fast. It was fast.
Usually we live a little longer. I feel bad.
Yeah, kind of like my first experience in another area that I can remember. It was a lot quicker than I expected.
Oh, only on the boat show can we get away with comments like that. That is amazing. So sorry we died so fast.
It's interesting that my character right now on screen is hanging his head. I wish you could see it.
Oh, really?
He's ashamed of the...
hang
on, I gotta look at my kill report.
Yeah, here we go. Looks like we died to Cerberuses. Oh, it's Dead Duck. That guy's always there for some reason. For some reason, whenever I do the boat show, they really like to show up.
That's okay, because the last time I got killed, it was by somebody named Vagina Slayer, so this is much better.
Much better. So, we're dead. That was actually quicker than I thought it would be. I was hoping I'd live a few more minutes, at least. I lasted...
I'm way out of area. I could start warping back in now.
Yes. So, if you want to, you can get a new ship from the system you're in. Like, you can even grab the first ship that appears and jump in that. So Pong, let's see. I was hoping we'd live longer. Now I gotta think of this other question I wanted to ask you. So I'm very spastic-brained. I don't know if it's because I have dyslexia or what, but I'll have something in my head and then it'll disappear because my thoughts went somewhere else. Let's see here. Honestly, though, dying on a boat hop is entertaining to be the least. Yeah, that wasn't as entertaining as I would be. I was excited that we died, but I was actually hoping that we'd live.
Well, I was hoping we'd live at least a few minutes longer.
Oh, now I feel bad. Okay, so back to...
I was counting on a good 2-3 minutes there.
Yeah, that definitely was about 30 seconds. Wow. Yeah, so with the Fountain War book, we didn't talk about this too much, so I guess this is a good time since we're both dead. With the book, a lot of viewers, when I'm streaming, their fear is that, and I almost like to think of it as an unfound fear, is that the fear is, okay, if I go to get this book, am I going to be reading a history book, or is it really going to be a fantasy type book that grips me from the start, kind of thing?
It's going to be a novel, and if it doesn't grip you from the start, I didn't do my job.
Okay.
My goal is to write the kind of thing you can't put down, so if I don't get there, I didn't do my job. Yeah. Is it going to follow historical events? Yes, it absolutely is. Is it going to capture battles the way they happen, or as close to the way they happen as I can capture them? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be a dry history text. It's not going to be an encyclopedia article or a Wikipedia article. It's not going to be lore. It's going to be a novel that makes you feel like you're there. Very, very early on in my writing process, I showed something I'd written to a man who eventually became my agent. Mm-hmm. And but when I was actually getting really, really serious, and it was the first time I was toying with writing kind of military fiction, and I wrote this piece that takes place in a helicopter, and in it what the Navy calls a helo. And he came back to me and said, "Hey, the action's great. This is, the description was good. The dialogue was good." He said, "My problem is this. I never felt like I was in a helicopter." He said, "Never once did I feel like you put me inside of a helicopter." And he said 99% of the people who are going to read this book have never been inside a helicopter or never going to be in one. They don't know what you have to engage their senses. You have to help them, smell the kerosene aroma of the JP5, for the fuel. You have to help them feel the vibration. You have to help them understand that it's so loud that you can't casually talk in here, that you have to talk over soundproof headsets. You have to give them the experience of kinesthesia and all the things that are associated with that. So my goal is to, when I'm writing from the perspective of a capsuleer, I want you to know what it feels like to be a capsuleer. And when I'm writing from the perspective of somebody who's manipulating the market, I want you to know what their life is like. So it's going to be a novel. And if it doesn't engage your senses, and if it doesn't make you go, holy shit, I want to live there, I did it wrong.
Okay, cool. One thing I was just reminded of, guys, we are doing 3 giveaways today on the Boat Show. In EVE Online, there are legendary pirate frigates, and you'll notice that if you've ever seen these frigates, I don't know if you've ever flown one or seen one, but if you go under frigates here, and let me see if I can find it in Pirate Faction, and I think, wait, where are these frigates at? Oh, Special Edition ships, there we go. Special Edition frigates, we have 3 to give away, so I need everyone to spam the chat with whatever you want to say in the chat. And as you're spamming the chat, we'll keep talking, keep discussing, and in a few moments here, I'll do the first giveaway. We have about 12 minutes left on the Boat Show today. It's been a fast game experience. Usually our games go longer. I feel so terrible right now.
No worries.
But I enjoy chatting.
I didn't suck so bad I would have come to your rescue fast.
No, it's okay. So we're going to do a few giveaways. We are also going to talk about our sponsor today. Our sponsor today on the Boat Show is the wonderful Blue Microphone Company, which makes the #1 best-selling Blue Yeti microphone. This microphone is amazing, and it's got a very sturdy design, very thick. I mean, I could squeeze this and it's not going to break. It's long. The microphone picks up excellent quality. The most terrifying thing is it actually picks up throughout my entire house if my dog decides to take a step through the yard. I mean, it's amazing. So the Pirate Frigate codes, guys, what happens with those, thanks to CCP for helping us with these, allows you to pick a pirate frigate when you turn in the code. You get to pick one. And so you have the emulator and the Gristus one, and it's pretty awesome. So Of course, chat is blowing up with the idea of me referring to my microphone as a phallic object. But I mean, that's what it looks like. It's a blue microphone, but it doesn't look blue. It's long, black, and sturdy. So I mean, there's always that joke there. And it's So give it a few moments, guys. In 1 minute, we'll do the first giveaway. And while we're getting that set up, we'll go ahead and keep talking. Don't forget, if you enjoyed the show today, if you enjoy all shows, the boat show's on 3 days a week now. We're on a new time again. We're back to 5 o'clock from 5 to 6 Eastern. So don't forget to hit the follow button. Following allows you to stay up to date on channel information. You get email notifications if you want that to let you know when the show starts. You also get Twitch notifications. If you're on Twitch, it'll pop up and say, the boat show has begun. It's really cool. I actually have that for a numerous number of streams. If you really like the show, you can subscribe at the bottom or a donation, and donations are read via a robot. And it's hilarious. It's a spam bot.
In addition to being long, black, and sturdy, I believe you can honestly say it's also sensitive.
Goes off really quickly. Much like our Eve experience today.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to jump the rails. Oh, by the way, as you can see, I wore the proper shirt for this experience today.
Yes! Now, I was looking at your shirt, and I'm still trying to figure it out in my head. Is that from The Incredibles?
No. This is the PvP timer.
Oh! Oh my goodness, I am so terrible. I'm having a boat show shirt made. I haven't decided on the final details of it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to have a picture of like a ship blowing up, and then like the captain's hat on top, and it's gonna have boat show written like 30,000 times on the back of it.
I like it.
And I think that's what I'm gonna go with. That's what I'm looking at. It's a timer. Wow, everyone's laughing at me right now, thinking I was the... Because at first, I understand, I watch a lot of kids' movies, because I deal with a lot of kids, and The Incredibles is just like a great kids' movie, so... I have a question, is that from The Incredibles? Sorry, I'm so terrible! Okay.
Yes, yes it is, and so is the microphone.
Yeah.
That's from The Incredibles, too.
Yeah, the adult version. Oh, man, I don't know... Actually... Oh, speaking of incredible things, have you ever just browsed Twitter for the random comedy things you can find, or like Reddit or something off, or any of those things for like the gems that they provide for comedy? Have you ever had the opportunity to do that? Twitter had one recently when Fallout 4 came out. I don't know if you had a chance to play Fallout 4. It's a pretty amazing game.
Not yet.
But when it came out, Pornhub came on and was like, viewer participation dropped 15% for the entire week, the first week that the game was out. So we know what you guys are doing. But it was just hilarious to hear that, because those websites are actually wanting to become pro gaming sponsors. They're pushing really hard to become pro game sponsors. So it's really amazing to see when they do tweets like that. It's hilarious because the community just goes nuts.
Yeah.
But okay, so back to the book. Have you, like, how is it going to be for you with the, I'm pretty sure, unlimited number of people contacting you going, okay, here's my story, here's this story, here's that story. How is it you're going to be able to balance reading those stories, yet still being able to do the book? Like, have time to write the book with all the unknown bits of information, you know?
That's, well, that's really one of the, it's funny because every once in a while, especially when I was doing the, when I was doing the Reddit AMA, people are like, I don't understand the big deal. Sit down, write the book, 3 weeks, you're done. I can't sort through this material in 3 weeks, much less write a book based on it. There's just too much. It's just too large. And the thing is, it would be easier if we were only looking at doing the high-level stuff. It would be easier if I was only going to write from the perspective of you know, Mittens and Buddha and Montolio and, you know... It would be easier if I was going to write from only from that level, but you can't tell the story from only that level.
Yeah.
You have to tell the story from the point of view of the line pilots. You have to tell the story from the point of view of the little alliances that most people never heard of. You know, you have to be able to jump around and also, to some degree, talk about things that take place in high sec and things like that to kind of round out the world and make that all come to life. So it's this mountain of information, and I have to try to go through it and pull out the pieces. That actually help tell the story. So it's So the answer is it's a huge challenge, but it's one that I'm looking forward to.
One of my most interesting experiences is way before the Fountain War, when Test was still friends of ours. I met Montilio. He lives about 45 minutes north of myself. And he was the creepiest guy I think I've ever hung out with in my entire life. Because he had no reservation. And I remember it translating into Eve years later when we had the Fountain War, is that we were sitting in a group of people, and I don't think I've ever shared this story publicly, but I've told lots of goons. I've told the goon story of this. But we're sitting in a cafe at a bookstore. And behind us is 3 Islamic gentlemen and dressed up in the proper attire that you would see them in. And we're in the middle of discussing something about a video game named Minecraft, and he just really loudly goes, "Oh, you can make nukes in that game, but we might want to be careful if we talk about that. The FBI might be watching this conversation." And I'm going, did you really just say that very loudly and make those men uncomfortable right there? I was like, who does that? And it just reminded me, oh, he plays, he's a really serious nerd, you know? It's like, he probably never comes out to visit. And it was scary almost. And then, of course, years later, when we got into the Fountain War, there was that, and it was just, yeah, it was crazy. Oh, man, the Fountain War is memory. But I'm excited. I haven't been excited for a book in a while, and this is exciting me. So
it's exciting. It's exciting to me. It's the possibilities are exciting to me. Yeah. It's when, and as you could tell from today's fiasco, I am a total noob at this game. I know the PV. I'm getting to know the PvP timer better than I'd like to, and it's not. And I see it from my pod. I do not see it from a perspective of the victorious pilot. So I'm a serious noob. But the thing that attracted me to this game, the thing that attracted me to this project, is that it's got freaking everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got, and I've said this before, but it's true. It's got massive, huge battles. It's got tiny little one-on-one PvP battles that nobody knows about. It's got acts of espionage that took place outside the game that affected things inside the game. It's got propaganda inside the game and outside the game, all of which has to somehow or other be woven into the story.
Yeah.
It's got freaking everything. It's got dirty politics. It's got explosions. It's got people manipulating the market.
Yeah.
It's got,
That's the thing, is that one of my most fun, I guess, people to talk to sometimes about Eve is a guy who plays the markets in Eve. He's worth trillions and trillions of ISK in game. He's does IT stuff in real life, but he takes it to a whole new level of almost psychopath level when it comes to messing with the markets. And his common phrase is, well, I could never do this in real life. I could explore things in this game that are illegal in real life. You know, the way you can manipulate people in the market and the money. And so it's always interesting. And I just looked at the time, and it's been a blast, but we're short on 2 minutes. You said you had to go soon. So I want to go ahead and do the giveaways real quick before we forget about those.
Yep.
So we're going to do the first giveaway. So we're going to roll it in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. First winner of today's giveaway is Burnout TX. Burnout TX, congratulations! Burnout TX, you have 10 seconds to say something in the chat, and once you say something in the chat, I will know you're paying attention, and I will message you. I will PM your code. To redeem your code, yes, he said something in the chat. Perfect.
He did.
All right, so to redeem...
That was actually kind of profound, what he said there.
Yeah. Howdy. Oh, now he uses common English. So that's the first winner, guys. We got 2 more winners to give away. Of course, all giveaways on TMC Media are, of course, rigged and as properly so. So we're going to go ahead and send you your code. To redeem this code, it's in a PM, so no one else should be seeing this right now. Just go to eveonlines.com, log into your account, and go to the redeem code page and redeem the code, and the ship will appear. Okay, so everyone spam chat like crazy. Just be active in chat, because if you're not active, you don't get this cool stuff. And I'm sure you want to get the cool stuff. So we got, we're going to do 2 more giveaways here. So 2 more, ready? And 5, 4, 3, 2, roll! Next winner is Dark Wild. Congratulations, sir. Dark Wild. You have won your second code. again, to redeem these codes, all you have to do is go to... oh, wow, he's already typed something. I think he was just spamming otherwise. So, Darkwild, say something so we can know you're here. And then we're going to get ready for the final giveaway real quick because we need to get this done. Darkwild says, yes! Perfect! You are the winner, sir! Yay! I get excited with the winners. I don't know if it's from teaching kids, but the excitement that they bring to life just makes me want to bring that excitement to my life every day.
All right, there you go.
So, all right, last roll. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. PRZER. PRZER. You are the winner, sir. Wow. All those names I recognize from watching all the shows. That's awesome. I'm glad I recognize people. Oh, we have our 3 winners. Congratulations, sirs. You can redeem those codes, and hopefully PRZER says something, so he wins. Because I would hate to have to give it to someone else. But yes, we are out of time, sir, and I don't want to keep you any longer than I can. Jeff, it's been a pleasure. I hope you have fun. Sorry we died so quickly, but
oh, no,
that was a lot of fun. So I wanna thank you for coming on the show.
I'm glad that the first time I saw my corpse in the game was with you.
Wait, that was your first time dying?
Yeah, that was the first time.
Oh no!
That was my first time dying.
Oh no!
18.
Yes! PRZER, you just won a free EVE Online pirate ship code. So awesome. Oh, he was on a fleet. He didn't realize what we were giving him. Awesome. So yes, seriously, thank you very much for coming, and I hope I don't keep you too late here. But yeah, it was fun, and I hope maybe we can get you on next time and do some more talking about Navy and stuff like that, because I did Navy All RTC for 4 years, and that was an experience. Yep. So, all right, well, thank you, sir, and thanks, guys, for tuning in today, and yeah, everyone in chat say, great job, Boat, you got him killed first. All right, bye, guys.
Bye-bye.